Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Can we?
Sorry?
Can we start or should we wait for some time?
Start.
Good afternoon, one and all.
This is Abhav Nair, class 11 student, master ceremony for the day.
And this is Anju S. Ghosh, class 12 student and your mistress of ceremony for the day.
Our school, Savodaya Central Vidyalaya, is one of the jewels in Vidyanagar education institutions and is always at the forefront of embracing technology and state-of-the-art facilities for seamless learning. Through our programs and initiatives, we always echo our voice for the betterment of our fellow beings. Our nature conservation initiatives and programs that involve students of all age groups are always viewed as a benchmark by the community.
Today, we are gathered here virtually to inaugurate this academic year's Nature Club activity. To start the proceedings, let us invoke blessings from the Almighty. Praying is essential for understanding God and for perceiving His existence through our body, mind, and intellect. Prarthana is a combination of words, pra meaning intensely and artha meaning to plead. Now, I call upon Suzanne John, student of class 10 and Nature Club ambassador for the invocation.
All these pieces broken and scattered, mercy gathered, mended and whole. Heart, Lord, I'll be your vessel, the world to see your life in me. Oh, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Whoa, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Ooh, I can see you now. Ooh, I can see the love in your eyes, raising yourself down, bringing up the broken to life. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Whoa, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Thank you, Suzanne. Now, I welcome Malavika Thampi, head girl, to welcome the gathering.
Good afternoon, one and all. With your permission, I welcome our Honorable Principal, Rev Dr. Santhan Charuvil, to this occasion of the inauguration of the Nature Club at SCV 2021. Welcome, Father. It's my great privilege to welcome Honorable Chief Guest for the day, Member of Parliament, my Union Minister, and a nature lover at heart, Srimati Maneka Sanjay Gandhi, to this occasion. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, I welcome our Honorable Bursar, Reverend Father Koshy Chirakkarottu, to this ceremony. Welcome, Father. I shall welcome Amal Sir, Staff Secretary, Ms. Usha Nair, in charge, Nature Club at SCV, section mentors, the entire teaching fraternity of SCV, non-teaching and support staff to this occasion. Finally, I welcome all of you SCVians and the parents to this wonderful ceremony. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Maneka. Sam Walton, founder of Walmart, once said, and I quote, "Outstanding leaders go out of the way to boost the self-esteem of their people. If people believe in themselves, it's amazing what they can accomplish." Unquote. We do have a leader who leads his resources from the front. Rev Dr. Santhan Charuvil, our beloved principal, is our leader who strives for excellence in teaching and learning. Now, I invite our principal, Rev Dr. Santhan Charuvil, for the presidential address. Father, please.
Good afternoon to you all. Honorable Chief Guest of the day, Srimati Maneka Gandhi, Member of our Parliament, Honorable Bursar, Koshy Chirakkarottu, dear students, parents, and their SCV fraternity. In Sarvodaya Central Vidyalaya, one of the famous institutions, not only in Trivandrum, which is known and acclaimed by the academicians all over Kerala and India. The Nature Club is a highly committed group comprised of nature-loving students. These student ambassadors are devoted to educating the awareness about various environment that could be dangerous for both fauna. The Nature Club has taken great effort to curb the harmful practices done against the environment by reaching out to students and their community. This is achieved through numerous activities, emphasizes the imperative need in taking measures to our mother nature and to make our ways of living as eco-friendly as possible. Today, we are very happy and proud to have with us Srimati Maneka Gandhi. There is no need of introduction to her, and she is in our Christian parents, may I call her the apostle of nature preservation activities.
That's so kind. Thank you.
Her entire life has been devoted for that. Madam, really, we Indians, we owe to your effort. Really, we are indebted to you for your continuous effort to preserve our nature and our tradition and our ecosystem. And promise that we all, our school is run by Malagara Syrian Catholic Management. Cardinal Basilios Klimis, you may be knowing him. He is the manager school. Under his guidance and with the support of
Nasi. Father, please unmute.
1 second. Sorry, I was looking for somebody to unmute this.
Okay, now.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
And the journey of Nature Club in this academic year started.
Father, please unmute.
Let me stop it because there are some technical glitches here. And I take this opportunity to thank and congratulate Usha teacher for her efforts during this pandemic time. She has been working very sincerely, in a committed manner for the preservation of our nature. Thank you. And thank you all the Nature Club lovers of our school. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father, for your meaningful words. Serena Williams once said, and I quote, "The success of every woman should be the inspiration to another. We should raise each other. Make sure you're very courageous. Be strong, be extremely kind, and above all, be humble." Unquote. Srimati Maneka Sanjay Gandhi is an icon for successful women in India. Srimati Sanjay Maneka Gandhi is a successful politician who got elected to the Lok Sabha 8 times. Currently, Ma'am represents the Sultanpur constituency in Uttar Pradesh. Besides becoming the Union Minister of State for many terms, Ma'am is well known for her powerful opinions and actions on animal welfare and protection. Ma'am wrote more than a dozen books ranging from the biography of late Sri Sanjay Gandhi to storybooks and quiz books. Extensively traveled, Ma'am is a recipient of numerous national and international awards and recognitions related to the environment and animal protection. We are blessed to have Ma'am as our chief guest, and it is with profound respect I invite Srimati Maneka Sanjay Gandhi for the inaugural address. Ma'am, please.
Thank you very much for giving me the honor of addressing the Nature Club. I would like to thank the principal, Father, for his speech at the beginning and the kind words he said about me. Now, how perhaps I think Mrs. Nair could tell me what to do is that I'll speak for about 20 minutes. And then after that, I'll be happy to take questions from your club. So I suggest you start gathering the questions now so that we don't have a scrum at the end. I'll take about 10 questions. Is that all right?
So, ma'am, you want the questions first?
No, I'm just saying you need to know who will ask the questions.
Yeah, I know that. Ma'am, you can talk as we have said, and then the questions will come up.
You know, animal welfare, people think is just about animals. It's not about animals at all. It's actually about how human beings could live better. Every single animal is not looked after by us. They look after us. Now, we give the word animal lover to anybody who feeds animals. But the word animal lover is such a small word. The word love is also such a small word. It's about recognizing that if we do not look after them, or if we do not give them the simplest of respect, we destroy our lives. Let me give you the example I give everybody, which is the simplest. I don't like cockroaches. You don't like cockroaches, right? So, but the point is, cockroaches are extremely important to us. And the reason why they're important is because when you have a bath or go to the bathroom, what comes out of your body, what we call in Hindi, mela, that if it goes into a water body unchecked, will destroy all the water into. But it doesn't. It's eaten by cockroaches in the nalis, in the drains. And their excreta is much cleaner than ours. And so we are saved. So every time you kill a cockroach, you're actually killing the one person who is from being completely drowned in filth. And it's saving the water as well. Let's take snakes. Everybody's frightened of snakes. So we kill them without thinking. But as a result, the silos of India that have all the grain put in them, and which feed the poor people their rations every month, those silos, 25% of the grain is eaten by rats inside the silo. And nothing can stop that. So we are losing 25% of our grain, which is thousands and thousands and thousands of kilos of grain. Why? Because we have rats. And who can get the rats? Only the snakes. But you're killing the snakes. So you're allowing 2 rats to become 32,000 rats in 1 year, because every 6 weeks they have babies. And the result is our people go hungry. So you need to think of innovative ways and to understand how each animal protects us. Now, the elephant and the monkey are both what is known as key species. A key species is the species that if it is well and healthy, it shows you that the environment is well and healthy. But not only in Kerala, but in the whole of India, there are less than 20,000 elephants left. And there are less than 1,000 tuskers left. That shows you that we are in deep. And the reason why I say we're in deep trouble is because the elephant alone spreads 150 different kinds of seeds, including, the elephant apple, the wood apple, which is good for when our stomachs get upset. What we call the bale is the wood apple. Now that's spread by elephants. If the elephants die, as they are now, because of humans keeping them as private animals, of which Kerala is mainly guilty, Kerala, Karnataka, Assam, you will lose the entire species within 10 years. And once you lose the species, you will lose all the plants that the wild elephants propagate. And all those plants are important for your health and well-being. So even if we were to not consider the elephant of any import in itself, you have to look at what it's doing for you. The same thing goes with monkeys. A monkey eats a fruit, it spreads the seed. But when you get rid of the monkey, all those berries disappear, all of them. So key species, snakes, elephants, monkeys. Now you have 2 ways in which, if you are truly from a nature, instead of just talking and giving speeches to each other and saying use less paper and other things like that, why don't you do the 3 or 4 main things that you should do? First, I'll tell you what you should do and then what you should not do. The first thing you should do is, if you want to save not just Kerala, but you want to save the world, the first main thing that you have to do is to become vegetarian. Now, the reason for that is not because of cruelty on animals, even though that's the most important part of it. The reason is because to make 1 kilo of meat takes 11 kilos of grain. So every time you eat meat, you 11 kilos, that's like this much. It takes 60,000 liters of water. You don't have 60,000 liters of water to, one animal to turn into meat. Also, the global warming. Now, what is global warming? Let me explain to you, because many people don't understand what it is and what it is doing to us. Global warming is when the earth is warming, right? But the first thing that are getting warm are the oceans. And the Indian Ocean is the most affected. So the Indian Ocean, of all the oceans in the world, has come under global warming the most. And that's because of us, our meat eating, our export of meat. Meat eating causes 16% of methane emissions. 2 things that warm the oceans: carbon dioxide and, much more importantly, methane. Methane is 24 times stronger than carbon dioxide. We never talk about it because we are the guilty party. We, China, Brazil. So we only talk about what the West does, but we don't talk about how we have influenced global warming majorly. And methane comes from just 3 things: rice growing, animals which are raised for meat, and coal. Now, how many of these does Kerala have? Rice and animals grown for meat, animals exported. So now 1 cow, for instance, releases 600 liters of methane per day. Now, what has happened to the Indian Ocean is that it has become a victim of global, but in a very odd manner. The whole ocean has become very cold on one side and very hot on the other. Now, the cold side is near Australia. And because it's near, it's called, when it's near Australia, because it's so cold there, the rain has stopped coming. And when the rain stopped coming, half of Australia caught fire. Do you remember? The whole of last year, year before last, it was on fire. Over a billion animals were killed. And not just animals, people lost their homes, the economy, the land, everything. On this side, near the Africa side, the Indian Ocean has become very hot. And because it has become hot, 6 countries have got 20 times more rain than they should have got. And when they got that rain, what happened? They created 500 times more locusts, because locusts grow in wet weather in Africa. Now the locusts didn't know what to do to eat, because there were 500 times more, not 500%, but 500 times. That means each family, each swarm, more than 1 crore locusts. So they eat everything locally, finishing off all the crops in those 6 countries. But then they came to India. And when they came to India, they ate up thousands and thousands and thousands of acres in Rajasthan and Gujarat. They came from Pakistan. So what happens? You eat meat in Kerala, or anywhere else. You eat meat in Kerala, and a locust comes to Rajasthan. Think, that is how we are doing it. Now, because we are the world's largest owner of cows and buffaloes and the largest exporter, we are contributing most of the methane to global warming. And the result has been, as I said, it's not just locusts, it's going to be malaria, it's going to be pandemics. Kerala itself has had floods. This beautiful, beautiful state was devastated with floods and will be again and again and again, because of the Indian Ocean, because it's the rise of water, the creation of more rain, the heat of the water is going to create these problems more and more. More typhoons, more cyclones, more monsoons, erratic monsoons. All this is because somebody's eating meat. How strange is that? So the first thing you need to do is to stop eating. The second thing that meat does is, anybody who grows animals for meat does not have land. That is why he's taken to cattle. So what he does is, he puts all his cattle, his goats and his sheep into the forest. And they eat up all the shoots of the forest. The result of that is that you have no new forests. And now you are rapidly going to about 8% in the country, when you should not go below 25% if you want to stabilize the weather. If you want to get water out of the ground, you should not go below 25%. But you go to 8%. And why? Because of all the cattle. In Andhra Pradesh, for instance, at any given time, there are about 6 to 7 lakh animals eating up the forest. So on one hand, we don't plant anything. On the other hand, we eat up everything, or we allow the cattle to eat up everything. So you lose, when you export meat, when you eat meat, you are not eating the anguish of an animal, of a baby. You are actually eating water, huge amounts, 60,000 liters per kilo. You are eating grain, which belong to poor people, 11 kilos per kilo. You are eating, you are eating the forests up, you are eating your water up, you're eating basically our lives up. Because of you, we've got less grain in the country. Because it's all, the whole of Madhya Pradesh has cut down its forests and they're growing soybean. Why are they growing soybean? Because they're feeding it to cattle. Why are they feeding it to cattle? So that you can export it, so that the West can eat, or not so much the West as the Middle East can eat animals without them spending anything. To give you one example, Sri Lanka has just announced that they are shutting down all their slaughterhouses. Why? Because slaughterhouses pollute everything. They pollute water, they pollute the land, they create a smell, everything. So Sri Lanka has decided to close down all the slaughterhouses, because they're saying that the only country that is foolish enough to try and feed the whole world is India. So they are now going to be all the meat from India. So we lose our forests, we lose our water, we lose our land. We quarrel in communities. This whole business of Hindus and Muslims and this and that quarreling over animals. is created artificially. But the point is, because of the meat issue, we created a life like hell for us so that another country can eat our animals. We are feeding Bangladesh, Jordan, the whole Middle East. We are the largest exporter. For what reason? And do you know that all slaughterhouses have got are tax-free? So you don't earn 1 rupee from them. They are all GST free. So you earn nothing from them. And more than 50% of them are owned by people who live abroad. So they take your money. What do you get? Nothing except global warming. So the first thing you should want to be a nature club is to become vegetarian. This is immutable. You cannot even compromise that, oh, I'll eat once a week, or I'll only eat when I go out, and I'll be vegetarian on Tuesdays, or some other nonsense like that. The second is to remember that when you kill animals, when you're mean to animals, a lot of people are mean. And when they're mean to animals, we must stop it. And the reason why we have to stop it is because there have been studies done by governments all over the world, especially the FBI. And they have discovered that anybody who is mean to animals is usually mean to his children and to his wife, and will sooner or later land up in jail for a crime committed against human beings. You will see a man who comes out in the evening to beat up street dogs, will also come out half naked, will also abuse his neighbors, will be mean to children, will shout and scream. For what reason? For what reason? He likes violence. And unless we raise our voice against violence, this is going to affect only you. You are our future. And how many of you have taken the trouble to notice the animals in your own streets? We as a country have become, we worship foreign dogs. So we go and spend 50,000 rupees buying a foreign dog. But all the dog on our street who's beautiful and far more intelligent, we'll call him jungli, pariah, pi dog. By the way, the word pi dog is a Tamil name, which became English. And it really, pi dog means watchman. So that's how much we valued animals before. So there is a school in Solan, which has 400 children. And the owners of the school insisted that only those children can get admission into that school, which is a really good school, adopt one street animal. So 400 street animals have been adopted by those 400 children. And it's such a delight to see how much more intelligent those children are and how much more disciplined. There are studies that have been done by psychologists which say that if you adopt a street dog, you become 15% more intelligent, more disciplined, and more friendly. So, right. The third and most important thing that you should do is plant trees. Not just one tree, not just waiting for some VIP to come to the nature club so that you can plant a tree. Every year, from the day you are born, whether you're rich or you are poor, whether you're in Kerala or you're in Himachal, you will use 7 trees a year. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? This is somebody sitting next to me. I've brought his laptop, and it keeps ringing on the laptop. Anyway, so every year you use, from the day you are born, 7 trees. The rich use it for paper, for clothes, for furniture. The poor use it to burn, for to make their doors, to make what we call carts. But the point is, we use it equally. Now, you are 10 years old. How many trees have you used? You've used 70 already. Now that is a deficit. How many have you put back? Unless you put back all the trees that you owe the earth, how will the earth survive you? How? If I cut, 7 trees and I put back 1 on my birthday and think that I'm doing such a great job, my bank deficit and my deficit towards the earth grows and grows. That is why our weather is changing. There is only one way, there are only two ways to stop global warming. One is to plant trees because they are things, and the second is to be vegetarian. These two things can still keep it away. But if you don't do either of them, no matter what you learn and teach in a nature club, makes no sense at all. Okay? So stop teaching each other and start doing. Pick an area from the government. Let the nature club take 1 acre. And let the nature club turn that acre into a thick forest of fruit trees. Old Kerala fruit trees. So that animals have something to eat, birds have something to eat, and humans have something to eat. And every year, do 1 acre, 2 acres, 3 acres, let the school do it. You will find how wonderful that change will be about. And every student, calculate your age, calculate the age of your family, and see how many hundreds of trees you owe the earth. And then start putting them back. I have a simple way. Whatever fruit I eat, my son eats, and I learned this from my husband and my mother-in-law. Whatever fruit is eaten in the house, we keep the seeds. We put them into gamlas, we keep them, and when they become saplings, we put them into the earth. So, my husband used to do it for Maruti factory. And now Maruti factory has 10,000 trees, all eaten by us. And fruit is given to all the workers who work there. Then come what else can you do? You need to eat organic food. Pesticides kill. Anything, if pesticides can kill pests, the biggest pest in the world is the human being. So think about what they will do to you. Think about the cancer, the consequences, the TB. So eat organic if you can. Grow organic. Even if you grow little pots at home of tomatoes and other things that you can use, even that will lessen the burden of chemicals. Try and wear organic. Make sure that the cloth you buy is organic. Then start an animal welfare club in the school itself. If the school is known for setting a trend, every school, for instance, in Assam is now getting an animal welfare club thanks to the education secretary. So let this school set the way. Anybody interested in animals, join the club. Make your own president, your own secretary, work with animal shelters, make people adopt local animals, make people sterilize their dogs, don't get more and more and more. There's so many things you can do for animals. And I request the school to have a prize at the end of the year for most humane child to be given, when you give sports or scholastic, certificates. So one is that. One of the things you could protest about, and the second thing, when the club grows or when the nature club grows, the animal welfare club grows, or the school itself, stop thinking that you cannot do anything. You can do wonderful things. I'm talking about policy making. In Kerala, you used to have donkeys on the way to Sabrimala. One group of children contacted the CM and told them that it was really cruel. And now there are no donkeys going to Sabrimala. Private ownership for elephants. Kill 600 elephants all over India. What is the point of it? You used to have dissection and I stopped that. Just 32 years old when I stopped it. It really requires, what do you not like? What makes you believe that this is cruel? And then you can stop it. Over the years, have we not stopped so many animal sacrifices? That's because you simply don't agree to do it anymore. You need to now take a hand in making state government policy by simply getting a whole lot of children together and saying, we will not accept this. and write a letter. Your chief minister is very accommodating. He will listen if you write to him again and again. The school protests, you get other people to protest. That is what a nature club is about. It's not an inverted thing where you just listen to people speak and then you plant a few trees and be done with it. It's not about that. It's really about taking on the ownership and the responsibility of being a world citizen. How can you change Kerala? How can you change your lives? How can you change your future? How can you change the world? You can do it quite easily. You just haven't thought about it. So these are some things that you protest against circuses. It is illegal to have circuses, but all the circuses belong to Kerala. So you need to attack them there where they are and say, do not have animals in circuses. You need to have zero tolerance towards cruelty, whether it's cruelty to animals, whether it's cruelty to plants, whether it's cruelty to human beings, especially children, women, and people who are vulnerable, old people. Once you do that, then you truly become a nature club, because you have recognized what nature is about. If you expect nature to protect you, you need to protect nature. Otherwise, nature is in a horrible temper nowadays. That's all I have to say. Now you can ask your questions.
Thank you, ma'am, for your inspirational words, and thank you for reminding the younger generation of our responsibilities to protect the environment. Now, I call upon SCVians who are ready with their questions. When your name is called, please unmute, switch on the camera, introduce yourself, and ask ma'am your question. I request other students to keep their mics on mute. You may please post your questions in the chat box, and depending on ma'am's time, we will raise that question.
We will start with Malvika Tampi, our head girl. Malvika, please ask ma'am your question.
Shall we move on?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Malavika and I'm from class 12D. My question to you, ma'am, is in Kerala, we hear a lot of news about stray dog attacks way too often. Last December, we heard a news about a 65-year-old man who was mauled to death by attacks of stray dogs. While addressing this, a former DGP had said that if animals become threats to humans, then protection should be given to humans and that the law should be changed. So, ma'am, what's your opinion on this?
Beta, it's because people don't realize how important dogs are that they talk like this. You have heard about one dog attacking one man. You don't know the backstory. The man may have hit the dog. No dog goes out of its way to bite unless he has been threatened, hit, hurt, or is sick. Okay? Have you heard about, you're talking about what happened last year. Have you heard about what happened last week when somebody's dog was strung up by a fish hook in Trivandrum and beaten to death? What would you say to the 3 people who did that? Do you know what happened to them? They got a 50 rupee fine. Now they will go back, they will beat their wives, they will beat their children, because now they realize how easy it is to be violent and get away with it. Now, I have to come back to the question of dogs. What is so important about them? I need you to understand this. A dog is a predator. And what is he a predator of? He's a predator of rats. Now, long before you were born, there is a city called Surat in Gujarat. And the municipal commissioner of that city decided that he wanted to make it really clean. So his idea of really clean was only 2 things. One is he threw out all the beggars, which never make anybody dirty. And the second was he killed all the dogs. Now, nobody said anything. He killed all of them within 1 month. He just had a huge drive and killed everyone. What happened after that? Within 2 weeks, the rats that live below ground and never come up on top because they're scared of dogs and cats, not of human beings, they all came out on top. They all came out. And people my age will remember and tell you that there was plague. 2 people got plague because they were bitten by rats. And the whole of India had to put those masks on, and again, tourism stopped coming for 2 years. We became a joke all over the world. Why? Because of one city getting rid of its dogs. Do you understand what will happen if you get rid of the dogs? They don't live here because you give them food. They are there to serve a specific environmental purpose. However, every city in Kerala should be starting the sterilization drive so that over a period of time, they stabilize the population. Now, this is why dogs are really important. People who don't understand it make these silly distinctions between humans and people. There is no distinction. Anything that hurts an animal hurts a human. Anything that hurts a human hurts an animal. We are one. We're just in different bodies. Okay? Secondly, I want to tell you, and Malvika, because I want you to remember this. A survey was done in Delhi. I cannot say the same for Kerala, but a survey was done in Delhi, and they found that 95% of the bites that take place from people's pet dogs, not from street dogs. And the reason why those take place is because the owner trains the dog to protect the owner. Now the dog feels that anybody who comes near the owner, anybody who comes near the owner's child is an aggressor. Often, this is the reason for the bites. Okay. Next question.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Malvika.
Now, let me call the youngest Nature Club ambassador, Aniket S. Nair, class 5 student, to ask the question.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi.
I'm Aniket S. Nair, student of class 5B. Ma'am, why do we need zoos? It is painful to see animals in a cage.
That's such a brilliant question, and I'm so glad you asked it. We do not need zoos at all. I am totally against them. And not only are zoos killing the animals inside them, they are killing off all of nature. Because what happens is, in Delhi, we discovered that the people running the zoos were selling the animals from the zoos, and then they would buy, whenever there was an inspection, they would buy them from smugglers. Okay? And the point is that animal is not meant to be in jail for its life. A zoo was originally started to be a breeding center. So for instance, if there was an animal going extinct, they would then take that animal and turn and eradicate it. Okay, like the dancing deer of Manipur, or what we will soon be doing with elephants, what we should have been doing with vultures, what we should be doing with sparrows. Yeah, animals that are going extinct in front of us. But we don't do it. We don't even do it with tigers. We just come, we jail them, we keep them in bad surroundings. 1/4 of all animals in zoos die every year. Every year. That means you lose 20 to 30,000 animals. Left to me, I would not have a single zoo. Now you have TV. Why should you go to a zoo to watch an animal? You should be watching them in the wild. The only people who go to zoos are people like boyfriend, girlfriend, who want to spend a day by themselves. People who have nothing to do. And so many animals die because these rowdies, what we call rowdies, go there and they throw stones at the crocodiles and bust their eyes. Recently, we have come across one zoo in Sholapur where the district magistrate himself was sitting with his wife and 2 children on a crocodile and killing the damn thing, So, and they apparently did this for fun all the time. And we're talking about 2 months ago. So nobody has any idea what zoos are there for. They're not meant to entertain people. They should be either breeding centers or they should be stopped.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Aniket.
Now I invite Anju to ask her question.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Anju S. Ghosh. I'm a class 12 student. So my question to you is, ma'am, human-animal conflicts are increasing in our states. So what measures should we adopt to stop the loss of life of both humans and animals?
Well, I suppose reduce the human population. Because not only is the population of humans growing hugely, but your greed is growing. So people who would be happy with small houses now want big houses. People who come from the Gulf want even bigger houses. You want more roads, more cars, yeah, because you have more spending money. So when you do that, you necessarily take away the land that belongs to animals. So you want to make roads in all the wildlife sanctuaries. You want to make houses where there's more green, which belongs to the animals. So the animals there's no human-animal conflict. These animals are fighting for their lives. You are simply fighting for your greed. So you have to take a call. How greedy do you want to get? Do you want to wear diamonds? If you want to wear diamonds, recently the government has passed an order that 2.5 lakh huge old trees will be cut for diamond exploration. 2.5 lakh trees, okay? Those animals are all dead. Do you want to wear corals? The whole coral reef, which takes 1 million years to grow this big, and which are living animals, those will be destroyed in 1 minute so that you can put them on your ears. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want? You want to wear pink lipstick? The pink in that lipstick, any color in cosmetics, which is pink, comes from crushed beetles. And those crushed beetles are taken off trees in Assam, exported. Most of it, it's called carminative beetles. And their dead bodies make the pink in your lipstick. Do you want to wear that pink lipstick? I'm saying that you have to decide now. You can only end the animal-human conflict if you become less greedy. But if you want everything, you want more clothes, you want more shoes, you want to eat more meat, you want more cars, then human-animal conflict, wipe them out sooner or later. Kerala is, every animal there is threatened because there's so little land and so many people and so much greed. And it's not just greed of Kerala, it's greed of, the human. So you have to decide how that conflict will end, Vita. Otherwise, it will never. I mean,
thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, it can only end in one way. The animals get wiped out. Full stop. They don't stand a chance against your greed.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Anju.
Now I invite Acha to ask the question.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Arsha, student of class 10. Ma'am, my question is that as doctors, treating animals is viewed as an unglamorous profession. Society has a sort of taboo. In a country like India, we need well-trained veterinarians to take care of injured or sick, wild and domesticated animals. Ma'am, your suggestions on how to attract more youngsters to such professions?
I think the veterinary profession is probably the most important profession in India. Unfortunately, it has never been taken seriously. So, very few people who are well educated want to go and become vets. There are only 33 veterinary colleges in India, and each one only admits 100 students. You have to pass no exams to get into them because there are no NEET exams. If you want to be an engineer, you want to be a doctor, you go through NEET. So the best of the best go to the best of the best. Here, you don't have to pass any exam. So you can fail in every other profession and then go and become a vet. This is not correct because a doctor, a human doctor, can study only one species, right? The human. But the veterinary doctor has to study 50 species, right from rats to dogs to cattle to elephants to birds to everything. So in every other country except India, they are taken extremely seriously and given a lot of respect. In India, neither are they given, neither do they give themselves much respect, neither are the veterinary colleges very good, neither are the people entering them have any interest in animals. They just do it because they need a job, and it's good to be a doctor. It's unfortunate, but the whole system needs overhauling, and I've been trying to overhaul it now for the last 20 years, only with very limited success. What really we need is, if you can find somebody who's a multi-billionaire in Kerala and let him make a veterinary college. Let him make a veterinary college, which is outstanding. I'll tell you how. all the law colleges in India used to be really bad, the worst in the world. And then one lawyer, Ram Jethmalani, got fed up with the quality of law colleges. So he made a brilliant law college in Bangalore. And within 2 years, every law college was in competition with that college. And now you cannot find a single bad law college in India. They are all top. So if we had a really good veterinary college, every other veterinary college would have to compete with it. So I'm still waiting for one person to come forward and say, okay, instead of starting a school or starting a engineering college or starting something else, I'm going to start a veterinary college and it's going to be the best. And then you'll see suddenly how things change. Otherwise, government doesn't take it seriously. You go to a veterinary clinic, the doctor will not be there, the compounder will give the injection, your dog will die or your animal will die. There is no system for taking the doctor or the compounder to court, so they get away. There are no systems for penalization of a bad doctor. So what can you do? You just suffer it. If you go to a human doctor and he treats you badly, you can always take him to court. You can do nothing against a vet. So that's why it doesn't improve. And that's why millions of animals suffer. Okay? How to make it?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Archa.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Abhav Nair, and I'm a grade 11 student. And may I ask you the last question?
Sure.
Ma'am, cited by the fear that the coronavirus is transmitted by animals in 2020, many people abandoned their long-term pets. Ma'am, based on this, I have 3 questions. 1, how can we prevent such irrational actions? 2, can the central government set up animal shelters in major cities in the states and adopt such pets? And 3, why can't we add this in our syllabus, the prerequisites for becoming a pet owner?
Yeah, good questions. Okay, 1, animals, dogs or cats, do not spread, get or give corona. No matter what you do, they do not. And it's simple. If they could get and give it, we would have all had corona. But we didn't. And not a single animal has had corona till now. So people who throw out their animals, throw them out because these are wicked people who are going to throw them out anyway. They just needed an excuse. Secondly, government under the law has to start an animal shelter called the SPCA in every district. It's just that no one listens to the law, so they have not started them. But it's in black and white, it's passed through parliament, there is budgetary provision for it. It's just not done. So you need to put pressure on your district collector because he has the money and he has a law to start the SPCA. SPCA is Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and it's supposed to be a shelter. Now, at the moment, you have no shelters. There's one that belongs to me in Trivandrum called Animals, and there are a few others, very small ones, but there's no land given to them. Their land is so expensive all over India, especially in Kerala, that nobody can afford to buy it for an animal hospital or shelter. So but the government has to take responsibility to have these shelters by law. But because if you don't ask, beta, they won't do. Nobody has ever questioned them. Nobody has said, where is my SPCA shelter? And because nobody's asked them, they won't do it. The third thing that you asked, I've forgotten now. What was the third, beta? What was
Ma'am, the third question was, why can't we add these into our syllabus?
You shouldn't be adding pet ownership to the syllabus. You should be adding an entire book on what do animals do for you. You have probably learned more during this talk about what animals do for you, and widened your thing about what do snakes do and what do elephants do and what do monkeys do. There is not a single animal in the world. If you take butterflies, for instance, there was a king who could not be killed because his soul was in a butterfly. And what does it mean? What does the story mean? If you kill the butterfly, you will kill the plant that the butterfly pollinates. If you kill the plant, you will kill the bird that drinks, that has the nectar from the flower. If you kill the bird, you will kill the seed that it carries for the forest rejuvenation. So if you kill the seed, then you won't have forest rejuvenation. And if you don't have forest, then you don't have rain. If you don't have rain, you don't have humans. So your entire soul lies in a butterfly, as it lies in a dog, as it lies in every animal. When you got rid of sparrows, for instance, nobody said anything. But when the locusts came, the only bird that could have stopped the locusts was the sparrow. But you don't have sparrows. So there was nothing to remove the locusts with. Yeah? When the vulture died out, the illness factor, the percentage of illness in every village in India grew by 5 to 10%. Because if a body died, if an animal died, immediately the vultures within 15 minutes would finish off the body, clean it up. But now when an animal dies, it just lies there and lies there and lies there and lies there in any village in Uttar Pradesh. And sooner or later it becomes so stinky that they throw it into the water, and therefore they poison all the water body as well. And that's because there are no vultures. So yes, there should be a subject, or the Nature Club should learn to take itself more seriously, and every week the school should have one lecture on animal and how you are dependent on that one animal. And then you will learn how the millipede or the centipede or the donkey, or any other animal benefits you. Once you realize that you are kept alive by an animal, you will look after that animal better.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for inspiring all of us.
Thank you.
Actions speak louder than words. This proverb is apt for our man of action, our Bursar, Reverend Father Koshy Chirakkarottu. Now, I invite Reverend Father Koshy Chirakkarottu to say a few words.
Good afternoon to you all. I'm happy that you had a wonderful and encouraging talk by Honorable MB Maneka Gandhi. I'm glad that I also could join with you. And I am proud that our students interacted with the relevant questions, which made this session more lively and fruitful. I cannot but congratulate and thank our Nature Club, guided by Usha Ma'am, for arranging platforms like this to equip our students with a conviction of the needs of creatively responding to the present day relevant issues rather than running away from them or turning back. And B, my dear students, be proud that you, the students of Sarvodaya Central Vidyalaya, I think you are the only one group that is benefiting from this many occasions to interact with the day-to-day issues. I thank our principal for his great vision and the Nature Club people for their initiative and all the students for your creative participation. And primarily, I would like to thank personally Honorable MB Maneka Gandhi for her, and I pray for her long life and all the blessings for her future endeavors. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Father, for your positive words. Dear SCVians, please note the results of various contests and challenges conducted by Nature Club will be announced immediately after the national anthem and after our Honorable Chief Guest leaves. Now, I welcome Mrs. Usha Nair, biology mentor and in charge of Nature Club, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Anju. Good afternoon, one and all. As in charge of the Nature Club at SCV, it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks for the gracious gathering out here. On the behalf of those who have gathered here and watching this live event, I thank our Honorable Principal, Rev Dr. Santhan Charuvil, for your presence and blessings. Thank you, Father. On the behalf of Sarvodaya Central Vidyalaya, I extend a hearty vote of thanks to our Honorable Chief Guest, Srimati Maneka Sanjay Gandhi. Ma'am, we will cherish your presence. We will try to follow each word you spoke today, and I'm sure our student ambassadors will join me in assuring you that we will convert your wisdom-filled words to actionable events. Thanks a lot, ma'am. On the behalf of all those who have gathered here and watching this live event, I thank our Honorable Bursar, Reverend Father Koshy Chirakkarottu, for his genuine appreciation for Nature Club activities and blessings for our future endeavors. Thank you, Father. On the behalf of all those gathered here and watching this live event, I thank Mr. Amal, MJ, Staff Secretary, and the entire teaching fraternity of our school. Thanks to our non-teaching staff for their support in making this event happen. Our sincere gratitude goes to our dear parents and well-wishers for their continued support. Thank you so much for attending this event. Last but not the least, to all my dear students and Nature ambassadors for attending this event online. Finally, I thank our MCs for the day, Anju S. Ghosh and Abhav Nair, for this wonderful handling of this ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your sincere efforts and words. So with this, we've come to the end of the inaugural function. I request the SCVians to stay back for the announcement of results of various contests done by the Nature Club.